Welcome, it's SVP. What?
Who?
Take 8. Hi, it's SVPod. Good Lord. Me and Stanford Steve. I'm a little shook. Red the dog is here. Big Red. I came out and just shut the door behind me. And
Right in his face.
Yeah, and he sat at the door and looked out the window just whining because he wants to come be part of the pod.
Why didn't you let him come?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. Red, where you at, buddy?
Must be the boot.
I think it is. For those that weren't with us Saturday night, your boy laid a scooter down and the keys tumbling on the asphalt, bleeding, meat, road rash everywhere. Stanford Steve's like, it's gonna hurt so bad tomorrow, buddy. Let me tell you, my ribs, they hurt so bad. Everything hurts.
Laugh, cough, breathe,
sneeze.
Oh yeah, sneezes are bad.
I'll do anything to not sneeze. And last night I sneezed. I'm like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And it's like slow motion. Like, no. Ow, it hurts so much. But we're fine. Everything's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Powering through.
We're better than the ACC.
Yeah.
So the rankings come out Tuesday night. That's why we pushed this to Wednesday. There's some obvious giant headlines. As always, part of the game day crew, Stanford Steve. Where are you guys going? When I asked you,
SEC.
I figured I didn't know.
Best.
Georgia, Texas running it back in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Giddy up.
50-50.
Maybe.
Oh, it'll be.
Silver Britches are going to have some people in the building.
They will. But it's just awesome because no matter what happens on any play, the place is going crazy. You know what I mean?
Sure. Like the Red River rivalry deal.
Correct.
You've got legit representation from both sides in the building. Those teams are good. They know they're going. What was the big headline? What stood out to you in the rankings Tuesday night?
The shocking thing was that I didn't see Duke or Louisville. And then once all these people that were saying Alabama's going to be ranked ahead, once I saw no ranked teams for the ACC in the bottom half, I'm like, this is going to happen. Missouri has just clung to a ranking that I don't believe they should have had going back weeks, but they didn't lose, so you couldn't get rid of them. And Bama beat them without their quarterback. Once you saw the rankings, I mean, why Army is still ranked? I love the troops, but they don't deserve to be ranked. And I believe LSU, Louisville, and Duke should be ranked over the teams in there. But it doesn't matter. Once you saw those ACC teams not in the top 25, it's about wins. They're going to put the teams in who they feel are best, and those ACC teams weren't in. Therefore, Miami's wins aren't going to be as good as Alabama's. But why Miami's in front of Ole Miss, that's a conversation that I'm on an island with, but I don't want to waste any time. It's right there. It's Bama or SMU.
When we started seeing the betting markets where Bama flipped to being a favorite on Monday, that's when I'm thinking, all right, they've obviously got intel here. It's priced into the number.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say it. I have no idea what's the affinity for Alabama. I don't get it.
Wins.
It's an amazing that you can go to Norman, Oklahoma, and get worked, lose 24-3, have 13 first downs, under 250 yards, and get beat by 3 touchdowns, and it's like it never happened. That's bullshit. It didn't cost them anything, nothing. And you can say the wins, and in saying that, I have zero doubt that Alabama could go to the playoff and win a game or more, just because I think there is an institutional, cultural, program understanding of what it is to compete in big games, because that's all those dudes do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nick can go, DeBoer can come in, but the rank and file, the guys that have been there, they play in big games. Even last year when they got to that game that they ultimately lost to Michigan, I mean, better snap, they might have won.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a doubt that they can compete. I just think there's no cost to that loss, to a not a good Oklahoma team, an Oklahoma team that went out the next week and lost by 3 scores to LSU. There's zero cost to that loss. And I don't get that. So then the question is, well, who do you like better? And that's where I've kind of gone in circles because I don't have a great answer. South Carolina fans, I get it. You want to focus on the good, and any fan base would. You didn't get much of a bump for beating Clemson, which doesn't make sense. I think there's more of a bump for winning on the road against a team that could go to the playoff. Should matter. You didn't get it. But if it's going to be comparative shopping among 3-loss SEC teams, you lost to the other 2.
Yeah.
You lost to them. And there's no amount of mental gymnastics you can go through. Well, it was close, and we covered, and right, we know all that. Okay, so then that does away with Alabama. Okay. Now guess what? Now you have to explain to us what happened when you got smashed at home by Ole Miss. But see, then what would we be saying? That the cost of a loss, it cost them. Didn't cost Bama anything. I don't get it. SMU's just fucked if they lose. Board Manual said it. He didn't say that word.
Yeah.
He just said it. He just said if they lose. So, okay, we're going to have Rhett Lashley on SportsCenter Wednesday night. So basically what the committee's telling you is your playoff begins Saturday in Charlotte. And I don't know what he'll say, but my guess is, cool, that's all right with us. Their issue is that in the ACC, which is weak, but now has people all over the conference, the good teams, they didn't play any of them. They didn't play any of them.
No.
And that's like Indiana. Same idea.
That's your league.
Correct.
Like, I'm sorry. The crazy thing is that I don't know what the ACC championship, I mean, obviously SMU would be in, but going through it, and Stanford beat Syracuse and Louisville. Those 2 teams got to be like, what the fuck? I mean, good Lord. You'd be in the ACC championship game.
If you
Louisville beat Clemson.
If you didn't lose to the worst. And Syracuse beat Miami.
Yeah.
And they'd be in if they didn't.
Don't lose a 21-0 lead also. Like, and that's the thing. All these teams, and what's so hard for people, we were at 2 with the BCS, right? Computers. Fine. Everybody hated it. 4. Not going to be great. All right. Now, probably 4th-ranked teams in forever had losses. Now we got to look at teams differently. 12, everybody has something wrong with them.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yes.
So
this is the conversation I think it was, I wrote it in the one big thing that I did on SportsCenter about how it's very much like politics. You're not going to listen to the other side no matter what. And the question is, do you want to focus on what's best about your resume, or do you want to focus on what is wrong with your resume? Because, Steve, to your point, everyone has something wrong with their resume. As it relates specifically to the ACC and then most specifically to Miami, and you've got Phillips from the ACC and Cristobal and everybody from Miami. Understandably, they're shook about this. I get it. You can talk about, well, we lost 1-possession games, and now all of a sudden you're going to point, hey, Georgia Tech played a close game against Alabama. You want a credit adjacent to your loss because teams were, and I get what you're saying, but in Syracuse this, and then you could say, right, let's go one more layer. Syracuse lost on that same field that you lost. They lost to Stanford.
Yeah.
On that same field. Miami, the issue, and we've been talking about it, Steve, for it feels like months. It's real simple. Find me a win. Find me a win. And the fact that there's at least maybe questions plural, about the Virginia Tech win.
Correct.
Was that a touchdown? Somebody made the call, or the ACC officials are just incompetent. The Cal game certainly appeared that telltale sign of helmet on helmet that would have been a penalty, which would have given Cal a first down, which would have won them that game. Those were back-to-back games for Miami. Rabbits out of hats. You kept pulling them out of hats. Your offense is great. Your defense is not. You lost 2 of your last 3. This is me shining a light on the negative. But when we try to shine a light on the positive, and Alabama says, well, we beat Georgia, among others, you just don't have that win.
No. What do you think about Ohio State only dropping 4?
That's one of the more in the same way I don't understand Alabama. How do you lose on your home field to a bad Michigan team that has 0 offense of any kind, and you're not penalized? What's that? What's that? What is that? I'll ask it again. Well, they've got wins against Indiana and Penn State. They do.
Yeah.
And the Oregon loss, it's a coin flip. If Howard is fractionally ahead, at least you get a field goal attempt. I get it. That was a hell of a game. Ohio State could have won. We understand that. I actually kind of thinking back, I feel like they were almost better that night. Doesn't matter, they lost. But you weren't better than Michigan. You played scared, you played small, and you lost, and there was very little penalty for that. I don't understand how it seems that we're very selective in how you lose to a competitive and good Syracuse team by 1 score, and you drop off to Bolivian. Or you lose on your home field by 3 as a 21-point favorite, and it's like, what are you going to do? I just think that I think the job of the committee's got to be awfully difficult. Making lists, I'm not even kidding here. It's harder to do than you think.
No doubt.
It really is difficult to do. But I don't think that there is a set of criterion that are applied with any sort of uniform understanding, at least to me. You're with me on Ohio State. Not like, why are we not being penalized significantly?
To a point, but then you start getting to what's their resume compared to those other teams?
They got 2 big wins.
Correct, and that's a lot. 2 more than we just went through the ACC.
2 more than your whole league.
Yeah, no one has one. The Ohio State Tennessee debate is I can listen to it. Tennessee people aren't going to talk normally about it. They get riled up, but they should just be happy with what they looked like a couple weeks ago when it looked like the rankings. Take your playoff game.
That was a rough Saturday night for y'all. It got to a dark place.
Buckle up.
Well,
You're in.
You're in.
Yeah. The seating still could be all shook up. That's what's crazy.
That's the next layer to this. I look at the bracket. The idea that Boise would get a bye, and that makes no sense to me. They don't deserve that.
No, Reese has been on this for over a month. You gotta change this and screw the buys. You just gotta rank the 12. There's no way you can justify them having a bye. No way. No.
They're not deserving of that. You want to talk about close wins and teams that did this? For a month, Boise was messing around with teams that aren't close.
Clemson doesn't deserve it.
No chance. But Boise, less so. I mean, I get it. Close game against Oregon early in the year, but you're down to Wyoming midway through the 4th quarter. For the brand, Laradice, we're all about it. Dax Crum, you don't get upset here, Wyoming people. No one's shown you more love nationally through the years than going back to the days that it's you and me and Russillo. But you guys aren't any good this year, and you're beating Boise. And then Genty comes back in, scores a late touchdown, you get out of Dodge with a win. I just don't want to hear it. There's no way that team should be getting a bye and hosting a playoff game. None. They're not good enough relative to these other teams. Good enough to be in? For sure. Look forward to watching the game. The second week? What are we doing? The things that drive me nuts is that getting more people clearly is better.
Yeah.
But it feels like the basics, the mechanics of the common sense being applied to how should we run this? Who's seeded this tournament.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Who set the like? What are you doing? How do you fuck this part up so badly? But we'll get a bracket and we'll get games. We'll be psyched. But then the idea of who plays who, where, and when. I'll tell you what I want desperately, just for the content and the curiosity. I want, what is it, Georgia, Indiana? Give me that.
Oh, see, I want Notre Dame, Indiana.
I want SEC, Big Ten.
Okay.
I want Tennessee, Ohio State. I want Indiana,
All
Georgia. Right. I want those two because those are the two Titan conferences. And those, you give me Bama, Notre Dame? If Bama's in, send them to South Bend. That'd be appealing as hell. Appealing as hell. I don't get why Bama was just, you're so desired by the group in the room. And again, just Steve and I we don't have votes. We're not the ones there's a committee. They sit there and
you all.
Well, they coveted Bama, but if they go to South Bend, all right, that's a pretty appealing game.
You think?
Well, it's incredible. Brand name, the whole bit. But I want to see these conferences go head to head just because
I know what the Friday night and the Saturday night games will be of that.
Got a pretty good idea?
If it's that. I would bet on that.
I can't stop staring at Boise just sitting there waiting for somebody to come their way. Then there's the other's a point about, so wait, I'm Oregon and I'm the one, and my reward is I get Ohio State, Tennessee winner?
That's a tough one.
Cool. Okay. I mean, you shouldn't be able to duck having to play hard games. This is the playoff, but I don't get how Bama's loss to Oklahoma is just didn't happen. Apparently. South Carolina, you guys hot. We know. You lost head-to-head. People are politicking. Got commissioners going at each other on Twitter.
Cool.
Exactly.
Not an election year. No one cares.
It actually was an election year, but
I like the title games played.
Give me Scatterboo and a whiteout at Penn State. That'd be awesome.
Can they do a whiteout for a playoff game?
I don't ask
copyright?
I
don't know.
I'm pretty sure that they don't need any reason to.
I just find there's no doubt Iowa State's going to be on winners. No one even knows that they're playing in the Big 12 championship game.
Penn State, too.
Oh, yeah. I actually like Penn State.
Tiny little number. Little number.
Why?
Well,
Clemson?
I don't know. That number moved very significantly, right?
Mm-hmm.
It means there was some heavyweight dough that came in on the ponies. I'm looking forward to talking to SMU's head coach. First year in a conference, you're on the grid right now. But you also know that there's no wiggle room. And like Miami, what's their best win? Pitt? Wheels kind of fall off that hail to Pitt wagon late in the year. They don't have a win. What do you
think of BYU?
I just watched him too much to be mad for him. I don't think you guys are
careful
as good as some other teams.
There you go.
I just don't, because I've watched you too much.
Totally agree.
But if all we're saying is
they're 10-2 and they have a win over what? Number 3.
And that's all anyone else says.
Yeah.
If we're gonna watch them with this the magnifying glass gets applied, because I remember, and again, this is just being honest. I can't get up. I had Oklahoma State in winners, so I watched that game. And a team that didn't win a game for like 3 months should have beat you. You got a miracle play late and you won. You had a late win against Arizona State?
Utah.
Well, right.
That game?
Right. Sacked. There was a hold on the play. Utah fans. The thing that's such a shame about it is there didn't need to be, because the quarterback was he was toast. But you were rabbits out of hats, but it wasn't going to cost Miami until they lost. I think BYU, if all we're talking about is strictly the resume, they have a point. I'm just saying I watched them too much to feel like they have been horribly slighted. 'Cause, I mean, part of it's not their fault. Like that Arizona wasn't any good. Oklahoma State, if that gets you nothing, they're 3-0 and ranked 13th.
Yeah,
didn't win another game. This has nothing to do with anything. Tip of the cap to Dave Aranda and Baylor.
Yeah, Spav. Come on.
They were in trouble. You told us they better go to a bowl game. They not only went to a bowl game, they rolled to the end. I had Baylor in winners. The Kansas people were apoplectic. They're like, how could you turn your back on the Jayhawks after all they did for you? Because they're not the right side. It's not complicated.
How can you turn your back? You just walked out today and threw the door in Red's face. You'll turn your back on anyone.
Got a boot on Steve. I was worried about walking up the steps. I got a friggin' secretariat next to me. He's just trying to bound his way up the steps. Well, my wife sent me the video of him sitting by the back door, just whimpering, like looking at the door. Like, what's up here? Are they back in? Is Oscar in the back giving him treats? Is it the treat factory in the back of them?
Either that or the good lewds.
Gotta have a lewd guy. Gotta have a lewd guy, as we've covered. I'm trying to think of is there anything else from mystery? Just from conference championship weekend, Oregon, Penn State doesn't matter.
I think it does.
What, just in terms of like
seeding? You're either 1 or you're the 5. You don't even know where the hell anybody's going to be. So there's a lot on the line this week for seeding.
I lose track of that, and then thank you, because you're right.
Because the ranking you look at, the problem is we got to figure out how to do the rankings, and then you see the bracket, and that's why you got to just seed this thing. No buy, like you get your 4 buys, but you got to just seed it so it makes sense. That's the problem. You see the way they reveal the teams, and then you're like bracket, you're like, holy shit, Boise's 3?
And they get a home game and a bye. Like, it's just
so that's the takeaway. Plenty at stake this week.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're repping them. How about the Rebs? How about Coach Odom? I go all the way back to that game. It was a Friday night because I had the Rebs. They didn't get there, but they lost by 5.
Syracuse?
No, against UNLV.
Oh, yeah.
Against UNLV, which it's a really entertaining game.
Mm-hmm.
But the Odom story, his career path, coaching his alma mater, gets run. That's Missouri. Gets run, lands on his feet at a place where, let's be honest, Vegas isn't off the grid. It is the grid in some respects, just as a destination everybody knows about. But their program, other than Kenny Mayne, shout out to our guy.
Randall Cunningham was good.
He was really good. I don't love him like I love Kenny Mayne, who's got incredible stories about gaming, riding bikes back from this trip and whatever. But that's not a football school that anyone thinks about. Now they're a win away. They're 60 on the clock away from going to the playoff. Bananas. That stuff's cool. I get bogged down in how much it bums me out that the stuff that ought to make sense doesn't feel like it makes sense. And it's not that complicated. Like you said, get your buys, but seed it correctly so that it feels like it makes sense. That's all I got. Anything else college football you want to say?
No, just couldn't be more fired up for this weekend. Games Friday night. You got UNLV, Boise Friday night, and Tulane Army. I love Tulane in that game, by the way.
Gonna miss those, Steve.
What do you got? Oh, I'll let you say it.
Happy holidays, happy holidays. Out by Groton. Santa train, Polar Express. Let's go.
My sister went last weekend. Sunday night? Yeah, Sunday night, I think.
It's a very regional reference. I'll just say if maybe you've got a Santa train where you are, a Polar Express, and we're on the very, very, very fringes of of belief.
Yeah, oldest is out for good. Yeah, she's fired up though because now she hides elf on the shelf. That's her job.
And did you explain the line I've heard that once you're out, then you're Santa too?
Oh,
and
yeah.
and it's your job to protect that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I have not officially gotten the word that our oldest is out, but she's just way too clever.
Oh, she's out. She's way too smart.
Yep, but she's also smart enough.
She's smart enough to make you think that she still thinks she believes,
Bang.
and therefore somehow she's going to get more presents out of it.
She wants a horse, Steve.
Whoa.
An actual living creature. And me being a dope, I'm like, all right, let's go to the horse store. Where's the horse store? My wife's like, buddy, let's take a time out.
Bro, there's some commas.
Make it a full, right? It's many places beyond the decimal point and involve. They eat a lot every day. What do you got?
Oscar's doing a great job with us. I believe it's Oscar helping us with the schedule for the weekend. He was showing us the rankings. We were talking rankings. Yeah. Oscar, pull up the horse store on the internet.
Thanks, pal. I don't think, but I get what you're saying. She's thinking,
yeah,
I know what's up, but if I just keep playing along, maybe we look out in the backyard and there's a horsey running around. That's not happening. It's not yet.
Also, while we're at it,
wait, I'm going to the Santa train. So I'm just saying to you,
all right.
It's. I roll my eyes.
You wear your pajamas?
I don't put on pajamas.
Oh, okay.
I got a boot. I got a built-in excuse. Although pajamas probably be better. I might be. You might see your boy in like a velvet robe and a snifter.
The robe.
Can you imagine? It's there's something that's they do an incredible job. I mean, I'm not trying to give them a pop because you can't get tickets anyway. Like, yeah, it's not like you either are in line when it's like Taylor Swift getting tickets to that thing. If you don't have them now, you probably bootleg. You could get them, but you're gonna have to pay aftermarket or whatever the hell it's called. But it's
couple guys in Connecticut I know that can get their hands on them.
Got to have a guy. We've covered this in life. I don't care what it is. You got to have a guy. You need black market Polar Express tickets. Steve's got a guy. So I'm gonna miss the Friday games.
All right,
but we're coming back crack of the AM Saturday because we got playoff games for the youngsters. So it is a playoff weekend across the board.
There we go.
Seahawks, Texans.
Rematch?
Pardon?
Rematch?
Well, no, that's different.
Oh, okay.
We got neither's lost a game, so we're in a bullseye. How are you guys gonna handle the pressure? I'm 7. I'm pretty good.
How do you stay motivated?
Right. What's your motivation? Treats?
Horses?
Can you imagine? The horse store.
Oh.
What's a phone?
Did you see the...
We're not doing that either.
Did you see the Denver Bronco when we were walking out?
Did
you see it?
Yeah.
They're the best animals, man. You should buy one.
You're not helping me. Because I'd figure it out. And then there'd be instant regret. Are you a boat guy?
Dad had one when I was young.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But good God, is it a lot of work.
The cliche about a boat are the 2 best days are when you buy it and then when you sell it. And it sounds like what happens in between the buying and the selling is you regret the fact that you did it until you can unload it. So I've been on a boat and you think, oh, this is cool, but then I just heard too much about it. I would imagine
responsibility, what I like to do on the boat, gets in the way of taking care of the boat and people. You want to host a good time. It's just not my cup of tea.
Understood. I feel like horse ownership would be similar to that. But I also know that if I can figure out a path to that for you, make the happiness of your little girl, it's like. But I could do the same thing by getting her a phone, but we're not doing that either. You got an age for that?
We have a phone, but it's only Wi-Fi.
So she can do all the stuff? Texting, all the different...
Texting.
See, I know how bad I am, how bad my wife is. I just feel like all I'd see for the rest of my daughter's existence is the top of her head.
There's parameters. Because we're also getting to the point, too, where it's like practices and stuff. And it's like, hey.
Well, she's got a watch that she can text
there
us
you
on.
go.
So I see her dad. I see this thing where she's looking down at her wrist doing this. And I'm thinking, what's the difference, really? But
you got some big decisions, man.
I know.
You know what I was going to add?
Shout out Bone Thugs. We're at the crossroads.
I don't know. You probably already do it. I love it just because of how excited we did the drawing last night. But we do a family Secret Santa.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So, and the rule is if you have mommy, you talk to daddy. If you have daddy, you talk to mommy. But other parameters like.
So your littlest is like 6.
5.
Even younger.
She knows what to do.
What's she do?
Huh?
Like, what's she do? Like tell mommy we got to go to whatever?
Whoever. Keep the person out of it. That's all.
She can keep a
secret? It's a test. It's a true test. They did it last year.
I love that. Because in her family Secret Santa, that's great because everyone's going to get dad, mom, we're going to get this. Santa's going to do that.
As the parents, you're going to know.
Yeah, but the idea.
But the kids don't like to keep it from the kid. It's like a true test where they're dying and they won't do it.
Oh, my mom has this great story back in the day about this. There was this, it might have been at like Wheaton Plaza. That's a regional reference back in the day.
Oh.
That had a little Santa workshop, and you give your kid whatever it was back in the day. It was $5, $10, whatever.
$5.
And they can shout to Joe and the calf. The people she get to watch her go through, and I was buying her, and I got her this horrendous ring, which she still has to this day.
Love it.
Because I got her that.
Yeah.
And that was my thing for my mom. But the idea of keeping a secret, can they do it? My guy, Charlie on Monday Night Countdown loves the Himmies.
Loves them.
And he's very invested. I came back from early in the year. Obviously, I'm gone Monday. I pick him up from school on Tuesday. Pick him up Tuesday, and he is not happy.
Oh, boy.
Buddy, what's wrong? Dad, what? You can't pick a coach in the Himmies. I had picked Todd Bowles. No one's going to vote for a coach. Won't look at me. No eye contact. Pissed. Like, all right. So we go through and we talk about who should be the Hemi guy. Well, we get to the nomination on Monday night. Ryan Clark's doing his guy. He gave a shout out to Tarheeb Still, Dirty Terp, rookie corner out of Maryland. Had a big day against the Falcons. He plays for the Chargers. And now it's my turn. And he says, hold on. We had to call up one of your homeboys or one of my homeboys. And the next thing I know, here's my guy, Charlie, saying, Dad, your picks are terrible. He did a tremendous job.
He did awesome.
He's a pretty cute little guy. He's sitting in my chair in my office giving a pick for the Hemi. And it was Josh Allen. Josh Allen won. And so Charlie believes he should get a trophy. So we're going to need to sort that out. I think I'm going to get it and wrap it up. And oh, God. He'll go bananas. But it was he kept the secret. And I said to my wife, I'm like, how did he not? She's like, I was convinced he was going to slip, but he didn't. So that was good fun. But I love that little inner family secret.
Yeah, do
Santa.
it.
All right.
It's great. Helps the excitement. Not that some families need it.
How many teams, Steve, are on they could win the Super Bowl list? Is it long, or are you in that camp if there's a very, very, very small number?
I would say larger than normal.
Because I've seen it's Philly, Detroit, and then Kansas City, Buffalo. Like, wait, have you familiar with Pittsburgh? You seeing what they're doing? I think it goes beneath just the 4 that I've seen people try to lump together, because you got a couple of you have a couple teams with one loss, and then you got a couple of hot teams right behind them with two. But I'm willing to expand my views a little bit, but I think our matchups coming out of that probable grouping. I mean, Green Bay plays Detroit this week. Interested in that one, just because Green Bay, when they've had a chance against their division rivals thus far, has not been their best. They got Miami in the cold. At some point, Miami has to win a game in the cold, just by accident, or else no one's ever going to take you. You're just never going to be taken seriously.
Yeah,
you're just not a team that, because eventually the most important games. This is kind of how life works. It's in January and February, and you're going to play someone that's cold, unless you are at home, in which case you would not. I'm interested in Philadelphia. I think that all year we've raved about Detroit, not just best watch, best team. Philadelphia is right there on, not a notch below for me. They're right there on the same level.
Agreed. I'm worried about Detroit. These injuries just keep piling on. And Philly has taken that, negative talks about their coach at the beginning of the season and turned it into a real thing. They got their offensive line back healthy. The defense has taken strides. I'm in the tank for Vic Fangio. What he did at Stanford back in his days, I'll never forget. So it's hard for me to root against or think that that's not going to succeed. But I still also don't want to lose. Arizona, Minnesota Sunday was awesome. And Minnesota went up and down the field. They couldn't do it.
They got 10 wins.
I mean, Seattle's still hanging around in the mix. They're in first place, aren't they?
In the mix. They are. They came back and won a bizarre game against the Jets. And they
did win that game.
They lead the West, right? Yeah. They won a game that it looked like it was about to be 28-7 Jets. Then Leonard Williams makes an amazing play, 90-something yards for a touchdown against his former team. And they lead the West. But we can get to other teams. I just think specific to Philadelphia, the thing that most impresses me is this. They continue to not score in the first quarter. It's like the first quarter is sort of a suggestion to them. Then come the fourth. It's back in the day, kids. Heavyweight division was a thing. Ali, Foreman, Frazier. There's more, but there's the kind of the holy trinity of those guys. And they'd 15-round fights. And when it gets to the 15th round, when it gets to the late rounds, Philadelphia is going to punish you. And they're going to punish you with stops, and then Saquon's going to get the ball, and good night. And that recipe for them, scary thing is if it gets away from you, then what? If you find yourself down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, then what? But largely, they've not been in that position. And so they're in a, it's like we're toe-to-toe, and we're going to go to the cards, or we're going to knock you out. But they're great in the last 15 minutes. Saquon has the most yards in the fourth quarter. And being able to lean on that guy, their O-line and him, what he can help create from Hurts, creating running opportunities for Hurts, that he was great against Baltimore with that. That and that defense, those 2 rookie corners. Baum is become like a superstar, makes play after play after play. Carter up front, as advertised out of Georgia, like all 3 levels on defense, and an offense that's got the MVP in the NFC for sure, maybe the league. Hard not to like what they're doing, especially with what you say about Detroit. I mean, how many of these people can you lose? And not just people, impact players, significant players, important players. So, I mean, I put Philly on the exact same level I have Detroit at.
Agreed.
I don't know where I don't see Green Bay in that level.
Or Washington?
No. Washington got exactly what they needed. They had a game against a Tennessee team who actually has been really good defensively, much better than their record indicates. And they got a bunch of turnovers. They made them capitalized with touchdowns and put that one in that rare this game's done in the first half situation. That's what they had to have going into their bye.
Two things.
Yep.
Our guy JP Finley had a thing going into the bye week this week, and he had a thing about before the season. If you told me the Commanders are going to be 8-5 and they have a sustainable quarterback and they made the right call, how would you feel? And you would be astounded. You would be so happy. But it's just crazy when you're in it every week and being here and seeing the rise and then seeing that 3-game losing streak and literally not knowing what's going to happen against a team that you are supposed to beat.
Tennessee.
And come out and run them.
Mm-hmm.
You got to feel good. And it is. It's a process. I am worried about them on the injury front too. But at this point, that's what we're like. That's why I can't put minimal teams in a tier that say win the Super Bowl, because there's still so much football in the NFL. Like, I feel great because college is, almost at the end. I'm looking at our Monday night schedule. I'm like, man, we got a whole nother half season to go. So as easy it is to shit on your team when they lose, don't do it. Just stay in there. Another thing, it's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool watching Kyler Murray play in games that mean something.
Yeah.
Feels like he hasn't since he got to Arizona. And I was blown away at how he responded in the Orange Bowl against Alabama, going back to his days at Oklahoma. Like, the dude's got some fight in him. And, the video game thing and everybody taking shots, I've questioned a lot of things he's done, but that team they're in there, man. And I love fresh blood. New blood, I love that, and they're the epitome of it.
College Football Playoff Committee doesn't. They like other things they know, I guess. In the NFL, Minnesota with Darnold would be new, clearly, and Arizona with Kyler new as well, if they're playoff teams. That game you referenced, I watched it on one of the screens on Sunday. It was the classic. You've got to get touchdowns, and they couldn't.
Correct.
Game. If Arizona could have gotten touchdowns, they could have put that game away, and it was field goal game. Got in the red zone, settled for 3, which kept the door ajar. And give Sam Darnold credit. That was a game that Minnesota couldn't get anything going. Arizona's bringing pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Darnold's on the ground a ton, but he didn't blink. And they get a late touchdown. It was actually pretty cool because Aaron Jones, who had never fumbled twice in a game in his career, put it on the ground twice and actually dropped a perfect ball. Wheel route, not hot route, wheel route. Dropped one that could have given him the lead.
Very few running backs make that catch.
It was not a catch that he, I think, should have made, but it was a perfect pass, and he had a chance, and he dropped it. But then they go to him there late. He squeezes it in the last minute. They won the game. Arizona almost gave my guy Dirty Terp Chad Ryland a chance for what would have been like his 4th walk-off kick since he's been there, but they didn't get to it. Murray got picked to end that game. But those are 2 playoff teams. Minnesota, I think, of all the teams in the NFC, gets the least sort of love for the fact that their record is 10-2.
Yeah.
10-2. I'm trying to think, who do they have left looking down the road for them? Falcons, Bears, Seahawks, Packers, Lions. So your steepest climb coming in your last 2 games against Green Bay and then at Detroit.
The Lions game could be for a bye.
Correct.
Basic.
Could be. And we all thought that Lions-Niners game at the end of the year was going to be the big one. And the Niners are at the point now where the only good news they have is they're in a division where no one is running away from them. NFC South, NFC West. I have no idea. At the moment in the South, Atlanta is taking on water. Kirk Cousins was horrendous last week against the Chargers.
Yeah, late on throws, wasn't good. There's one question in the NFC South.
Yes.
Are the Panthers still in
Pooptown?
Nope.
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm even getting soft in the holidays. There's just people that are playing. We were at the point in the year where we had a little cold front come through here.
Woo!
We got off the plane the other day. It was 20-something. I'm like, woohoo! Teams that have nothing to play for but play like they have something to play for, immense respect for that. And we're seeing it, which is great.
They're paid to play.
Correct, but not everybody plays like they play. Not everybody punches the clock with a whole lot of gusto.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real convenient because Atlanta's taken on water, but it's hard not to like Tampa Bay more.
Hmm?
The Falcons have got the hammer because they beat them twice.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. You're going to have to – there's no tie here. Like, they're ahead of you right now because they beat you. So Tampa Bay needs to be ahead of Atlanta to be the South representative. But Atlanta looks like a mess. In the West, I still can't quit the Niners, and it's all just institutional residual belief. But that team doesn't exist.
No,
the team I think of when I think of the Niners,
it's not even close.
Doesn't exist.
Looked like it at the beginning of the game Sunday night.
McCaffrey was running hard, bro. I thought he was going to have a massive night, but now he's down for the count.
And Mason,
correct. Garendo, though, when he's had his chances, has looked the part.
Pick him up. Good
luck. You did in our league.
I got him. Nice. Yeah. One more game.
When it comes to fantasy, you're in a league where you just go by record. Or do you have a budget?
I love this.
You got to do the thing where you have the budget because you should have because there's strategy in that. And you got guys like me. I haven't had $1. I'm like the little kid that goes Christmas shopping, and you give them a $100, and they walk up and like, how much does this cost? $99. Done. Then everyone else is still shopping, and you don't have any money. I'm that guy. I haven't had any money to spend on free agents for the past 2 months. But the fact that the teams that stink, that have no chance to make the playoffs, get to just grab the best available free agent because their record's bad, there's no strategy in that. But in the one league where I am the worst, I did pick up Garendo. We'll just keep chopping wood over here. I'm interested in where you are with this because I have my belief is rising. And that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'll admit that it is framed because the most recent game we saw was against a defense that is giving it up, and that's Cincinnati. But Russell Wilson, I got to be honest, I thought it was over. The last year in Seattle and Denver looked done. And if you're paying attention, Wilson, he said he feels 26, and then he said maybe 30. And whatever age you are, he's 36, you look like a guy that can lead a team on a run.
He was gun-shy. He was gun-shy at the end of Seattle. He was gun-shy in Denver, and now he's listen, like, we've gone through it, and every team you mentioned, like Detroit, love what they did in the draft, free agency. Eagles, love what they did in the draft. Pittsburgh, every year for the last 5 years, I love who they've drafted except Pickett. And he's got weapons around him. They're going to get Highsmith back. They've done this without him. He's coming back. I love him on the other side. I have a homework assignment for you that I know you're not going to do, but you totally should because you will love it. And it's watch the Hard Knocks on the AFC North. It's so good. It's your boy Mike Tomlin. It's every team in the North. It's awesome. Awesome.
I can't believe that Mike T agreed to wear a mic, and somebody started talking to him. He told him to shut up.
Yeah, it's so good. He has the best saying ever. He walks in the locker room after the Bengals. He's like waiting for Russell Wilson. He's doing the interview on the field, and he's like, "Is that everybody? Is that everybody? All right, we're good. Close that door behind me." And he goes in and talks to the team. But it's great. My man Troy Walters got a pop on there with the Bengals. They're in a rough season. We didn't get the Monday night game because of the Browns, but you saw the lead up to that after the Steelers snow game. Obviously, Jameis, you guys have covered that, the affinity we have for him on Countdown. But I know you won't do it, but you should watch it. The boys would love it. Love it.
It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just it's a time situation.
Sit down.
Push play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make it a priority. You got a boot. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. I'm not. Actually, I'm going to be on that train come Friday night, baby. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Da, 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 da. I might be on an island here. I think 3 games for Azeez Al-Shaair is excessive.
Me too.
The pendulum has swung so drastically from Monday night countdown, dudes seeing people getting concussed and screaming, "Jacked up!" to he should be suspended for whatever. It's gone from celebrating that to suggesting that I know that you could put together a lengthy video of Al-Shaair doing stuff that's borderline and beyond. Not excusing that. Russell, who the hell's Russell? Adam Schefter told us on Countdown the other night when Swag asked the question. He's like, is this guy's history going to be considered with this? Clearly it was, because he got 3 games for that. The minute it happens, you're like, oh no, this is bad. There's the fencing response from Lawrence. His hands are in that position where you're like, oh God, he got knocked out. And it's a violent hit. But I think 3 games for that is excessive.
I totally agree.
We've reached a point now where we know that player safety is of a priority, but if we're in a deal where you're sliding and I'm going to try to get you down, like I can't physically stop myself in a way that's going to prevent us from colliding. He hit hard, his head hit hard. It sucked. I'm not screaming jacked up and celebrating the hit. I just think 3 games is... I also don't agree with Houston trying to make it Lawrence's fault. Like, that's not a good look either. You're wrong for that, but 3 games is wrong. You want us to sit a guy down for a game? Okay. But I think that's just a reaction to the way we've all been conditioned to understand the violence of the game that we're trying to prevent. But that's 3 games.
And what it looked like.
Precisely.
You know?
Precisely. You ready for Pooptown?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to tell you right now, I got some teams that are out of there. You asked earlier, Carolina Panthers, Pooptown? No. Pack your things up. You're leaving. You've lost your last 2 games by 3 points at the gun to Kansas City and by 3 points in overtime to Tampa Bay. And it took a Tampa Bay Baker being Baker, battling his butt off, getting to a 50-something yard field goal that ties it, and they win it after a missed kick in overtime. I'm excited for Bryce Young. Hand up, thought he couldn't do it. I would love to interview him and have an honest conversation. He's a bright, polished guy that I don't know if you'd get to the truth. I would want to ask just very simply this question. Did sitting help you? Yeah, I really did. How? Did it unlock something for him? Did being on the sidelines and watching from a different place allow him to see something different? Because he's playing different. He's playing with a confidence that wasn't there before, and I'm here for it, and I salute it. Thielen's been incredible since he's come back. I thought he had a touchdown catch that I don't know what they saw, but somehow it wasn't. It ends up costing them the game if you look at it that way. But they're out. They're not in Pooptown. You know why? Because they're not terrible. They're competing. They're playing hard. That's enough for me.
Great coaching job.
Agreed. Because you kept people that could have just been like, we'll see you down the road.
Yeah.
Battling. They're out. Cleveland Browns out of Pooptown. I'll own this one. It's just because I love Jameis. He's praying to God to deliver him from pick sixes. Well, Jameis, God isn't listening to that particular prayer. But they, against a defense that's top 2 in scoring, top 3 in yards against, hung 530 plus, they're playing hard. They're not terrible. Pooptowns, if you just can't play or aren't playing or stink. They don't stink.
Get to Pooptown.
They're out of Pooptown.
Go to Pooptown.
New York Giants. Pooptown.
Pooptown.
Dude's getting fired. Dude's getting cut. New York Jets.
Thank you.
Pooptown.
Pooptown.
How many games did they win when you and Woody were going through? You know, they could win all these games.
I think 1. I guess. They're 1-8, their last 8. I'm going to run through. I want to do it now because I'll forget. I just want to ask a question, and it's not a question that there's an answer. How is it possible? You talk about New York. Man, it'd be tough to go there because that market, sports talk radio on the back pages. You have 2 football teams in your city, and they both stink every year. How is this possible? How is it possible for New York City, big bad New York City, to have the terrible football teams, plural, year after year after year? It's incredible. Look at Los Angeles. I don't even know if there are Rams or Chargers fans. When we go to SoFi, it doesn't feel like there are a lot of them.
And more security guys that give a shit.
And you definitely have more Ravens fans.
Pain in the ass.
There are a lot of them. But LA is sort of like, whatever. But at least the Chargers are good. The Rams are in the mix. New York. Big city of dreams. It's terrible. Year after year after year. It's just, how's that possible? He has no answer. There is no answer. You're both in Pooptown. Vegas. 8 losses in a row.
Pooptown.
Kind of the perfect scenario because you at this point are pot committed to being bad, but you battled your butts off against Kansas City. I respect that. But you lose 8 in a row. I'm going to have to keep you there. Tennessee Titans.
Pooptown.
You got good defensive numbers, but you're 3-9, I believe it is. And you just gave up a ton. The good news is you welcome another resident of Pooptown. That's Jacksonville.
Pooptown.
They're coming in this week visiting Nashville.
Big one.
New England Patriots.
Pooptown.
Got beat at the gun. But not the gun. They actually tried a 68-yarder. Joey Sly almost made it. But May's out there trying his best, but you're in Pooptown. Sorry. So are the Chicago Bears.
Pooptown.
Back in.
Dude got fired. Flus. R.I.P. Flus.
Yeah, but they're better.
Understood, but...
Wow, you have them in Pooptown? You had them out.
Your record is your record. Can't lose this many in a row. And the manner in which you lost that game, and this is talking out of both sides of your mouth, because the Packers game was close, the Vikings game was close, the Lions game, everyone's mad at Flus, and they should be.
Mm-hmm.
But Caleb, you can't, what are you doing? You can't check to a play and
hot route.
Snap the ball. My God, the end of that game was incredible.
I can't believe they went back to Chicago with that timeout.
That's where I, you know what happens? And when we're down there on the field, like at the 2-minute warning, waiting, it's mayhem. You're sitting there watching on your couch. It's hard to process in real time what's going on, but it's somebody's job up in the booth that's in your ear to just be screaming, call timeout, call timeout, call timeout. After that sack, clock's running. Like, you're down by 3. You have someone, there's fucking 50 of you people wearing quarter zips or hoodies that are associated with your team. One of them's job has got to be to have a walkie-talkie to the guy in the booth to say, get in Flus's ear and scream timeout. Someone's job has got to be to understand the circumstance. Down and distance, time, clock, figure it out. Shout the big cat. How do you not... Someone, timeout. You call timeout after that sack. Now we're clearly playing for one throw to the middle, get up, Santos tie the game, we'll figure it out in overtime. Somehow that didn't happen. And so I took Cleveland out of Pooptown because they're competitive. You've been competitive the last 3 games against all divisional games. You lost them all. A coach got fired. No one figured out to call a timeout. Pooptown.
Totally disagree.
Because?
You're making fun of the committee, and you have the Browns not in and the Bears in. That's questionable.
Pooptown. Dude they fired the Floose. Floose went through a whole new thing where he got like good looking. Scruff and a new hairdo. And
our guy J-Mac loses his mind at teams and dumb decisions. I can't imagine what he was doing in the middle of Thanksgiving. He would ponder the thought, like he thinks like timeouts are like, I think he loves them more than his kid.
Not true.
Close. And I can't imagine what he was doing at the end of that game. Because
Chicago,
they went back home with the timeout in their pocket. Yeah.
I'm just saying, when you go through when you had, what were they, 4-2 early this year?
Who?
Chicago.
Yeah, they were hot.
Well,
they had that great win against Tennessee to start the year.
One of the all-time most counterfeit things in the history of history. They've got 2 wins this year with under 150 yards of offense. 2. Now they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
More than Miami and SMU.
6 in a row. Okay. Lost 3 in a row that they could have won. I take Cleveland out because of Jameis. I make no apologies. He told me to eat a dub on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And he prayed to be delivered from pick sixes. They're out. Pooptown. Because you want to know what? At least they're fun.
Oh, here we go.
At least they're fun. Holiday season, I'm looking for fun. I'm looking for teams. Bears did compete.
Come on, against the Lions.
You want me to take them out?
Yeah.
You're out of Pooptown.
Oh, my God.
I'm feeling
you
like Santa.
You are so soft.
Fuck them. Back in Pooptown. You know what? Steve doesn't get to talk me out of it.
It's your Pooptown.
They're in it. You didn't call timeout. Guy got fired.
That feels like 3 months ago.
It does. And the Bears saying, we probably could have handled that better. You think?
The in-game or the after-game? They made the guy do media the next day.
You figure it out. Well, we were having a meeting we didn't know. Yes, you did. Don't let that guy go out there and do that. You know he's done. That's just so small. You're the Chicago Bears. Button it up. Button it up.
Talk about a loyal fan base.
And they're not wrong.
They don't have shit to celebrate.
Yeah, but they could sell optimism because they're the Chicago Bears.
I'm not giving up hope. I'm on the bandwagon.
The problem you face is that you look around your division and you go, Detroit, oof, they're pretty good. They're probably going to lose some. This is probably the last time you're going to have that run with that coaching staff. You're going to lose some people.
Yeah.
Minnesota, done an amazing job. Amazing job. Green Bay, oof. They got their quarterback. Jacobs has been excellent for them. They're pretty good. So I guess we're the worst of this group. Yeah, but we're the Chicago Bears. History. Palace.
How long ago is that?
Hey. Dale Sayers. Sweetness. 86 Bears.
85.
Super Bowl Shuffle. 85. They get the gist. But
is that 40 years ago?
We're old, Steve.
Holy shit.
We're old. There's plenty to sell. It's just you live in a rough neighborhood.
You have them in Pooptown.
I put them in Pooptown.
All right.
They got a coach. You don't call a timeout. Your coach gets fired. You make him do media. The whole thing. Organizationally, boom.
I'm not giving up hope.
You get. It's like you're like in a timeout. This is like a weekend timeout for you. And
it's been a while since they won a game.
Now they play banged up and desperate Niners, then the Vikings, and then the Lions. They got plenty of chances to lose close games in excruciating fashion. Or sign up for 60 and punch their way out of Pooptown.
There you go.
I need to ask a question about a team that I'm convinced is good. Like the Chargers just keep winning, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't like them.
I think the way they win feels like it's going to be really hard to keep doing. And when I saw them face to face with Baltimore,
that's the team. I don't know what the hell to think about.
That's who I'm getting to.
Holy,
that's the thing. The Chargers keep giving you reasons to believe, and I have a hard time doing it. Baltimore keeps giving you reasons not to, but I do. I can't quit Baltimore. But what are we to make of this team? They've lost 5 games. They lost more than they lost all last year, and they got a bunch of games they could still lose. Steve, they played Steelers, Chargers, Eagles all in a row. They get a bye week against the Giants, Pooptown. Then Steelers come in, Texans and Browns. Like, they're going to go to the playoffs.
They're playing the Giants.
Yeah, it's a
in New York
bye week.
Oh, that's the other team before Lamar lost to the Eagles. That was the only team to beat.
NFC team, correct. But the 2 good teams, best teams they played in the last 3 weeks, they lost to.
Down.
That's the problem that with them at the moment is, like, they'll beat the crap out of the Giants, I presume, although they've lost to Raiders and the Browns this year. They're not losing to the Giants. But then when Pittsburgh comes in, that's a game you got to figure out how to look better than you've looked against them.
Yeah. No, we give them the benefit of the doubt. We like their head coach, 2-time MVP award winner, which I feel like gets a pass in big games, and I need to see it.
That conversation is getting a whole lot louder, though, about, like, all right, look, Lamar, we know you're really good, but when you play the best teams, you have to look like.
Can't score 19 against the Eagles. And the kicker thing, I don't know what the hell to do there.
I do. Keep the faith.
Okay. Till when?
I don't know. I saw the thing, and it was on Twitter, so I haven't sat down and heard how the in-depth was with Russillo, but his point was, like, you can't go into the playoffs with this guy. Ryan Clark on Countdown the other night said he got to get a new guy in there. I disagree with that. I don't think that the guy that's been historically the best kicker we've ever seen is suddenly no good.
Okay.
These kicks are missing by a fraction. I have a conspiracy theory. I think they're putting funny gas in the K-balls. I'm telling you, they were hooking all over the damn place last weekend. There's more hook on the K-balls. There's that story about the guys with the K-balls. They meet in a hotel. Like,
yeah. I talked to the Falcons guys when we were in Philly.
What's going on?
Nothing. You're out of your mind. That's what's going on.
We got to
This is how biased you are to the Ravens.
No, Tucker and the Ravens.
Yeah.
I am.
I know you are.
Blind spot. Fine. Just like Pooptown. I'm not perfect. I've never said I was. But I want to know what's going on. Tucker, God. You're telling me all of a sudden he can't make a field. By the way, he made a 50-something yarder in that game. Fine.
That's an extra point.
And 2 other kicks.
Yeah.
And he's missed more kicks than he's ever missed in his career, and he's missed the most in the NFL. So you're going to bring in guys? I mean, I can't imagine that. I just don't believe that he's lost the ability to make kicks.
Okay.
The numbers on the page, though, tell a different story, don't they? What are you saying, cut him?
No,
you want to bring in a new guy.
I said I don't know what to do.
And that's, you know what? That's good. That's fine.
I don't.
The thing about kickers is they're kind of like NBA coaches. The names of them, you're like, oh, that guy, I remember him. But they all just float around from team to team.
They don't get credit for how good they are.
Who's out there right now that
Ray Wersching?
Tony Fritsch? Mason Crosby. He's a little older.
He can't do it.
Oh, the guy, Greg Joseph, he kicked for the Giants this year. He missed some kicks that would have won him a game. What are you going to bring in?
Do you have Tucker in fantasy?
You're going to bring in Cade York? He's out there.
He got a big leg.
He does. But they got rid of him in Cleveland.
Yeah. It ain't an easy place to kick either.
Baltimore?
Yeah.
Why? Wind front?
Yeah. Weather, man.
It's not. We don't live in Siberia.
It's freaking December. It was 20 degrees last night.
Yeah, but look at like Boswell. That guy. People used to say Heinz Field is a tough place to kick. That guy's automatic. I know it's got a new name now. Whatever it is, it's still people. The big ketchup bottle. Tucker's the guy. He's going to be fine.
All right.
I think I'm rooting for that. I don't know if I believe it as much as I'm just trying to speak it into existence. There you go, big boy. Big Red hunkering down right in front of us. All right. What else is there that we covered the good teams, the bad teams?
Just want to say Empower Field was awesome.
Yeah, that was a good place.
Denver was great. Did you feel altitude or no?
I did because of the rib injury from the moped accident. I thought I might not be able to get the air.
Great stadium.
Air's hard to get.
A lot of establishments around there too.
High level field and atmosphere. Hadn't seen a game there. It was.
Can you imagine that place when Flacco threw that pass?
No.
Holy shit.
Yeah, having that energy.
Oh my God.
And imagine staring into the eyes of that and doing it, man. That place is really good. And Denver, you love to tell people it's on the court with Denver, 5280, right outside the visitor locker room, painted in giant letters. It says altitude sickness is real. Like, yeah, no shit. We know we're up high in the sky. We get it.
Just get rid of the UTEP uniforms, please.
I said it on Countdown repeatedly. We showed the video of the drive. And by the way, kids, you see that and you're like, wait, that guy doesn't have a shoe on. Yeah, that was a thing dudes did.
Rich Carlos.
Yeah, Rich Carlos back in the day. There was an era when guys didn't kick with a shoe on. Why, you ask? Exactly. Somehow they convinced themselves it helped them kick the ball better. Put on a shoe. But Broncos, put on those uniforms. Those Orange Crush uniforms, those powder blue helmets.
I blame the Shield because they're obviously not allowed to.
It's
dumb.
I quoted you wrong. I said that you said they look like Boise. You did say they do look like UTEP, and you're right. It's more the Boise colors are different blue. That is more.
Used to have the Boise colors,
right? But this is the colors they wore the other night look like the UTEP blue.
Not great.
All due respect to the Miners.
Correct.
I
do love your helmet.
You don't necessarily want to look like the Miners. Right. Let's stop.
Need a place in Atlanta Friday night to watch the games. People, let me know.
Get it, Steve.
Multiple games. I need multiple TVs.
What's the name of that joint? What was the name of that place Spencer Hall took us? That one
the
bar.
Church place?
It was me, you, Spencer, Wright Thompson. It was an all-star crew. Hold on, I'm going to get you the name.
You came that night?
Yeah, I was back.
There's the church with the witches all over the place. It was freaky. I was there. Yeah. It was Spencer, Wright.
I think it is the church. I'm going to ask Spencer.
No, it's the Church's Ghost or something. Man, it is creepy. You go in the bathroom and there's like witches and nun costumes looking at you.
Go there. That sounds
animals.
That sounds like a good time.
I don't know if they have multiple TVs.
But wait. The Denver scene, great.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. I put it in terms of the stadiums this year. Pittsburgh is excellent. Hadn't been there to see a game. Spectacular. Denver, spectacular. We're going to go to Lambeau to finish it off. Talk about some skits. See about what happens there. But it was really, I'm a fan of Denver.
You love weed? Because they do. Man, you didn't even spend a night there. I was like, oh, you smell. I've said it forever. It's every big city now. God bless you.
The question back in the day that we pointed out when it came to the combine, when a player would go, is, do you like weed or do you love weed? You're saying Denver loves the weed.
They do.
Fine.
I could live there, though, because of the weather.
But it's an odd thing.
We got so lucky.
There's snow a foot, and then it'll be 60.
Yeah. Weird.
I dig it. I'm all about it, but that's because I've reacquainted myself with my skiing.
Yeah, when are
background.
you going to get back on the skis?
We're gonna let this wheel heal up, and then we'll be back out there in no time.
What didn't you realize you can't do that you really am pissed about?
What, because of this thing?
Yeah.
Breathe. Breathing is high on the list. Breathing without
Getting out of bed?
Forget it. Are you a side sleeper?
Side and stomach, yeah.
You sleep on your stomach?
Yeah.
I in college I was a stomach sleeper, head under the pillow. I would rack for a dozen hours easy.
How do you breathe?
Don't know. People would call at like 2 p.m. I'd wait. Are you still asleep? And you'd always do the thing you do. No. I was still sleeping. Stomach is long gone for me. Back, I only pass out on my back if I'm completely exhausted and I just fall asleep that way. But I'm a side sleeper. Trying to sleep on the side where I smash my ribs is bad. But even worse is trying to roll. Roll to the other side, and everything hurts a lot. So I'd say, Steve, the thing right now that I don't do well is roll over to my side in bed and breathing. I don't have any activities. It's not like I wanted to go jump out of I didn't want to go parachuting. I don't have any things I want to do that I can't do except breathe. So that's mainly it.
Okay. Get better. Good luck on that train.
Yeah, we can't wait for that. Wait, we've got our guy Spencer Hall is weighing in. I just want to make sure I get the name of this joint right. Wasn't Chris Long with us?
Well, I wasn't there with it. I went with Spencer, right? I think Bomani came.
By the way, shout out to Wright Thompson. If you haven't read The Barn, read The Barn. He's the best writer there is. It's really dense. The detail is really dense. It's a lot of history. It's obviously not a uplifting read, but Wright Thompson's absolutely brilliant. Also, I hear it in his voice.
Yeah, that's great.
It really is great. Wright Thompson, by the way, who had the greatest line about Twitter in the history of Twitter. Quit Twitter. Why? Why would I want to let somebody I don't even know tell me fuck you on my phone in my pocket? Great point, right? Great point. I'm stalling just to get the name because I got Church.
Yeah.
It's a bar. Actual name, Church. Okay.
Creepy.
Go there to watch the games.
I don't think they have multiple TVs.
All you need, how many do you need?
At least 2. Downtown Atlanta, too. Downtown, like Centennial.
It'll be bad if I'm on the Santa train with a big iPad out. Hey, Santa, good to see you. We're locked into Mountain West here. Give me just a minute, pal.
Give me a sec.
Keep the elves away. I'm not singing.
While we're giving a shout out, Bill Simmons in the Yacht Rock documentary was awesome. Awesome. If you can't tap your foot and get your hands going, listen to the old Yacht Rock, Michael McDonald ripping, Christopher Cross, come on.
That's your favorite song, Sailing.
Yeah, played at every wedding.
And I was psyched that you spun the tablet around to show me George Benson because George Benson could go. Turn your love around. Horn break. Come on.
Oh, it's tremendous.
All right, so there we go.
And it's a great history lesson about why it stopped.
Completely random
3 letters.
Non sequiturs at the end of the show.
MTV.
That ended it.
Videos.
Which is odd because now apparently there's just I don't know what it's,
I haven't. Oh my God.
No, apparently there's some show, I don't even know what it's called, and it's just one episode after another of just hijinks. I don't know.
Oh. Cool.
Or whatever. We were old enough to know when it came along, and then it's just a different thing now, I guess. It's not for us.
Sit down with the boys and watch Hard Knocks.
I got to go to the horse store. Are we doing Saturday night?
We can't.
Why? Oh, Sunday. Gotta know. Why?
Yeah, we got everything's revealed Sunday. Don't we want to react Sunday?
I guess. So what are we going to do, a pod Sunday?
Yeah, we'll do Sunday.
After the rankings?
Yeah. No point in doing it Saturday.
Great point. You know what that means? No Saturday night. Oscar, guess what? Date night, buddy. Date night. You don't have to be here all night.
We'll figure it out.
With red chewing on your shoes. All right, so it's a Sunday pod.
I do Sunday.
All right, programming note. That's right. Steve's over here calling me out for Pooptown and helping program things.
Right.
Somebody's got to have a friggin' brain among the two of us. Not me. All right, let's go get into it. You got stuff to do today.
Yeah.
See you at the horse store.